Mason, this is via the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast.
Was that all the Star Wars news?
No, this is also Star Wars. Just get excited for once. Why can't you just love Star Wars as much as everybody does, which is nobody anymore?
I don't know. Why can't I just love Star Wars as much as all the people that hate everything that comes out of Star Wars?
Bryce Dallas Howard was talking about Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
And as we know, he played Mace Windu and he was killed.
Whoa.
Allegedly, apparently, in the last Star Wars
What are you,
movie.
the Emperor's lawyer? Now, as we know, he was allegedly killed. You even did the finger quotes. Allegedly killed.
Well, let's not commit to anything,
Yeah.
right? We just saw him fall a great distance, minus a hand.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Now, my client was simply attempting to recharge some light globes in his fancy, floating apartment or whatever he lives in, and he was doing that utilizing a skill he learned, as a businessman, lightning from the hands.
Yeah.
And Mace Windu, I mean, first of all, he ended without a warrant.
Yeah, not okay.
Not on at all.
Yeah.
And then he leapt from the
And his hand fell off.
And his hand fell off also. Yeah. Possible drug use. Who's to say?
Who is to say?
Objection overruled. All right. Strike it from the record, but we all know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
She said, Sam Jackson has been incredibly supportive of me and he's told me many times that he would act in something that I directed. And then I went straight to Dave Filoni, Cowboy Hat Star Wars. And he said, and I was like, I love Cowboy Hat Star Wars. So let's talk about Mace Windu and where he is. Because is he dead? Is he? So what do you think, Mason? Bring back Mace Windu? You do that Obi-Wan show where you make it not as boring and you have him, he has to refight the Emperor. Because you don't know what happened between Star Wars Episode 3 and Star Wars Episode 4 to Mace Windu.
Oh, that's true.
They could have had another fight that's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except this time it would have been set on the ground.
Yeah.
And at the end, the Emperor flings him into the air. And then you just never see him again.
And his foot comes off.
His foot comes off. That's right. And you know what? 2 appendages left.
That's right.
So we got 2 more sequels in him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm kind of past the point where I want to see anybody ever again. Both in movies and in life.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So you were telling me earlier to get excited about this Star Wars news, and then you lay it all out, and then you're like, I don't care if any of these characters live or die, nor do I care about the actors.
Or anybody in real life.
Anybody in real life.
I don't know. I mean,
sometimes I wish I was on the ground and then I got flung into space and I never returned.
And my foot came off.
Came off. Because then if your kids were like, Dad, can you help me with this? You'd be like, can't, foot came off. Sorry, kids.
I'd love to. If my foot didn't come off, which it did. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's because, having just watched Andor,
the good Star Wars.
I don't think anything's better than this.
Yeah.
And, but also Star Wars is whatever. They've got little kid Jedi shows where they're running around and being like, I gotta do a flip and believe in myself. What kind of fruit is this? And then it's Andor where, it's pretty grim.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They know what fruit it is. And that fruit is oppression. And they're fighting back against it.
They certainly are, Mason. I got a letter here, Mason, from Josh, who says, will you be doing Andor weekly reviews or wait until the whole show comes out, sadly, once it finishes? We're gonna do the whole thing and at the end. And this next one speaks about that from Liam, who says, how do you feel about Star Wars introducing extremely mature concepts such as SA, trigger warning, by the way, for sexual assault, if the time goes below, if you do want to skip this, as seen in Andor. Is it too Rebel Moon edgy for edgy's sake, or do you think Star Wars can and should include such dark elements? Rebel Moon felt like, I don't know, it didn't...
Salacious.
Yeah, and also, it didn't feel real.
Didn't feel... Exactly, yeah.
Whereas Andor felt like...
Yeah,
really harrowing and.
I mean,
awful.
I'm sure we'll cover this when we cover the whole lot. But the first 3 episodes, I think, covered a lot of issues that felt really real in the real world.
Yeah,
in this sort of space opera setting. There's a couple of scenes in the first 2 episodes where we keep cutting back from the rival rebels groups constantly infighting with each other and trying to kill each other over small misunderstandings, and then it cuts back to the secret meeting of the Imperials where they're like, we're going to do a lot of evil, and all the Imperials are like, we agree.
But what kind of evil can we do?
Yeah.
We've got so many options.
We've got so many options for evil. you know?
And we've all bought our own ideas.
That's right, and our own lunches.
That's right. Oh, really? You have to
No,
bring
it was,
your own lunch?
no, they've supplied lunch.
Okay, I was going to say,
Yeah.
it seems like a room where they'd supply lunch.
It looks like, and everybody's having, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But I love just the idea of like, you know,
The banality of...
yeah, and the idea of,
banality
you know,
of it.
like a lot of people say that about the left is like they're constantly just trying. They would work better if they just presented a unified front, but so many groups of left-leaning individuals are just like, well, we got to knock this guy down a peg or two. We're going to chip away at this. This person said the wrong thing. This blah blah blah. Whereas the other side are just like, let's do some evil.
We're all ghouls.
Well, let's do some ghoulish stuff, and they're like, yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice actually.
I think, and I know there's been a lot of discourse around that scene in particular in Star Wars and comments about, well, Darth Vader would never allow this. Famous child murderer Darth Vader. There also has been like essay in Star Wars before, like in expanded media. Also, you mentioned this the other day, but Darth Vader just stood back while the planet was exploded.
That's
like
true.
It was nothing.
He could have done the Force.
He could have done
on
the Force
Switch
at any point.
and they would have gone, Switch doesn't work. We can't destroy Alderaan.
Somebody's done the Force on that, but we don't know who.
Mm.
So, I mean, for me, I thought it was done well. I mean, in terms of like it felt realistic and harrowing, and things like this. It happens. Like this is as a result of conflict and people taking advantage of the sliver of power that they have.
Yes,
will use that to their advantage to do horrible deeds. And a lot of the things that are in this show that are currently happening, they were written because of these things years ago even before, because now, of course, they're cracking down on immigration in the US in particular. It doesn't obviously just happen there. But like that is it's not like they wrote it just in time for this to happen. These things have always happened.
Yeah, but you kind of think you exist in a world of law and order, but you are still at the mercy of these like little dictators that work at checkpoints and whatever.
Also, Darth Vader wasn't there because he can't. Maybe he probably wouldn't approve of it. I guess, I don't know. But he's also a fictional man, and he was set on fire, and all his genitals burnt off. I don't know what he's about, but he's
all his genitals,
all of them.
Wow,
he bought a collection from home.
That's great.
So I don't. They're all terrible in different ways, and again, like little men with a little bit of power, and just doing terrible.
The best
things.
guy is Cassian Andor, and he's terrible also.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah,
but he's sure flying that plane around though.
That's so true,
and that was cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I thought it was incredible. Apparently, it was also like the weaker episodes of what we're going to be getting, which I just thought it was amazing. I'll be very sad when this is over and that's the end of Star Wars.
Tony Gilroy did an interview this week, I think, where he was like, they're never going to do anything like this again. And I think he meant in terms of scope, like real sets, going on location, all this sort of stuff. But I mean, ultimately, he meant quality as well. He didn't say that, but I mean, we all know.
And I like how he's just like, Darth Vader's not in it. He doesn't say much. So I have no use for him. So, and
we have our own Darth Vader. It's Ben Mendelsohn.
That's right. And there's no we know ultimately where this ends, because we've all seen Rogue One and Star Wars. I assume
that laser comes down and they escape through a time tree.
That's right. But it ultimately doesn't matter.
Yep.
Anyway, it's incredible, and it's the best show in Star Wars.
True.
And maybe just the best Star Wars. No, it is.